Hey, fellow problem solvers, Colfax Math here. Today we're going to go over the arithmetic reasoning portion of the ASVAB exam. I have a 5-step process to make every math problem in the arithmetic reasoning portion easier, straightforward, and logical. That's really what the arithmetic reasoning test is checking, is to check your logical thought processes. The only way you get good at anything is with practice. Watching a video won't do it. You have to have paper and pencil out in front of you, pausing the videos, doing the problem, unpausing the videos, watching how I do them. I have a book out called Math Test Success, ASVAB Algebra. It's available on Amazon. It's actually for sale at about the cost to print, or you could download it for free on my webpage, Math Test Success. I just want to make sure that you are as successful as possible on any standardized math exam. So what I have here is I'm going to go over my 5-step process. I have 2 example problems where I'm going to apply this process to those 2 example problems, and then a 15-problem practice test. So with that said, pull that paper and pencil out, and let's get started. My 5-step process is you have to mark up the sentence, highlighting the things that are given to you and what you are being asked to solve for. This works on both the computer exam and also a paper exam. So if it's a computer exam, you have your note paper in front of you, you number it, you write down the key parts of it, you work systematically down that scratch paper. That's for the computer assisted exam. And then on the paper exam, you do it right on the exam. Number 2, you create a picture from that sentence. Where you're kind of working towards is creating that picture in your mind. And maybe in a future date, you could skip that picture. But for now, you really need to create a picture from that sentence. These problems are all about decoding the English into a math sentence. Step 3, create an equation from that picture. Step 4, solve the equation. Step 5, check what you solved is what you were asked to solve. You do all of this great work, you see the answer in the multiple choice answers, you circle it, you feel great, and you ended up answering what you weren't even asked. That is a really common mistake. So one more time from the top, you mark up the sentence, you create a picture, you create an equation, you solve the equation, and you make sure you answer what they're asked. So let's apply that to our first example problem right here. And these are really very typical arithmetic reasoning problems on the ASVAB. A ladder is leaning against a wall. The top of the ladder reaches 8 feet above the wall. The base of the ladder is 6 feet away from the wall. What is the length of the ladder? So there's my picture. A couple things I note on that picture is that this is perpendicular. The wall is straight up from the ground. Therefore, it's going to create a right triangle. With that picture in front of me, I can see the solution to this is the Pythagorean theorem. So I mark this up, and then it says, what is the length of the ladder? So I knew I labeled this as x because that is what I'm looking for. From my picture, I'm going to create an equation, Pythagorean theorem, 1 leg squared plus the other leg squared is equal to the hypotenuse squared. This is a no calculator exam, so I know it should work out pretty easily. 6 squared is 6 times 6, 36, plus 8 squared, 8 times 8, 64 equals x squared. 90 plus 10 is 100. X squared is equal to 100. I take the square root of both sides. What times itself equals 100, and x is equal to 10. Let me just double check that. Find the length of the ladder. That's this. So correct answer, answer A. So again, I marked up my equation, highlighting key points. I drew my picture, took that picture, made an equation, solved that equation, double checked I was solving for the right thing. One more example problem here. So what I do here on this example problem is pause the video, do that 5-step process. Mark up the equation, draw a picture, create an equation, Solve the equation, make sure you're solving for the right thing. Unpause the video, here we go. A delivery truck driver makes 3 stops. So he starts right here. First, he drives 20 miles east. So that's this way, 20 miles east. Then he drives 15 miles north. So then he goes straight up north. And then he drives 20 miles west, back the way he came. How far is the driver from the starting point? So I don't want to know how far he traveled. I want to know how far he is from this starting point right here. Well, I don't even need to set up an equation. I could just go straight from my picture. This is the distance to the starting point. Correct answer, answer A. All of the work on this problem is being able to take that sentence and decode it. It's a really complex sentence until you draw a picture. That picture is one step at a time. Once that picture is drawn, then you're just looking up here. If this is 15, this is 15. Okay, let's move on to the test. So 15 problem test. I want you to apply this 5-step process to every one of these problems. Sometimes you'll be able to skip some of the steps, but it is the foundation that you're going to use to solve these and get the correct answers every time. Pause the video, go ahead and do these problems, maybe 1 or 2 at a time. Unpause and watch how I do them. Problem number 1, a baker uses 2.5 cups of flour for every batch of cookies. If she wants to make 4 batches of cookies, how many cups of flour does she need? So 2.5 cups of flour equal 1 batch. This is a proportion, one ratio equal to another. I want to know how many cups of flour make 4 batches. Well, I can see right here on the bottom, I multiply by 4 to get here, so I have to multiply the top by 4 as well. How do I go from 1 to 4? I multiply by 4. If I do that here, I have to do it here as well. 2.5 times 4, I'm going to double it to get 5. Double it again to get 10. Correct answer is D. Let me double check that. How many cups of flour does she need? Well, she's going to need 10 cups of flour to make 4 times as many cookies. Problem number 2. Sarah is driving her grandmother's house, which is 180 miles away. She has already driven 75 miles. She is starting here, driving to Graham's house. It is 180 miles away. She has driven 75 miles, so she's driven 75 to get here. How many more miles does she need to drive? I can see it's the difference between this and this. I'm going to do 180 minus 75 to see she has 105 more miles to drive. Correct answer, answer B. Problem number, things jumping around quite a bit. 3. A store is having 20% off sale on all items. The jacket originally cost $60. What is the sale price of the jacket? So the jacket is originally $60. I'm going to have to multiply it by something to get the new price. If I multiply it by the 20, that is how much off I'm going to get. This is what I want right here, the new price. So I'm not going to multiply by 20, figure out what that saving is. I want to know the new price. So I'm going to do 1 minus 20%. 20% is the same as 0.2. 1 minus 0.2 is 0.8. So I'm going to multiply this by 0.8. 6 times 8 is 48. And then I have that 0 in that decimal place. So that works out to be $48 is the new price. And you can see right here, 12, if I multiply 20 by 60, I would have got $12. That is the amount off. And they're not asking you that. They're asking you the actual sale price. So the actual sale price, answer C, $48 right there. Problem number 4. John can type 60 words per minute. 60 words per minute. That is a rate. If he types for 30 minutes, how many words can he type? How many words? So this, again, ratio equal to ratio is a proportion. I want to know how many words can he type in 30 minutes, right? So I have my units corresponding minutes and minutes. I go from 1 minute to 30, I multiply by 30. If I multiply the bottom by 30, I have to multiply the top by 30. 6 times 3 is 18. 0, 0. So I have those two zeros. So I have 1,800 words. Correct answer, answer D. We double check that. How many words can he type? 1,800 words. Number 5, a rectangular garden is 15 feet long, 15 feet long, and 10 feet wide. What is the area? This is a key word, right? I could add up this plus that plus that plus that. That's going to give me the perimeter. Probably one of the answers up here. It's not asking me for that. It is asking me for the area. From the sentence, I go to the picture. From the picture, I create an equation, base times height. I solve that equation, 150. And then finally, I make sure I am solving what they are asking me to do, the area of the garden. Correct answer, answer C. Problem number 6. If 3 bags of apples, so I have 3 bags of apples, so that means I have 3, B is for bags, of apples, contain 45 apples. So 3 bags, 45 apples. How many apples, so I want to know how many, that's that X right there, are in 5 bags. So I have 5 up here. Ratio equal to ratio is a proportion. Just like very similar to all the previous ones. I have to get from 3 to 5. Well, I'm going to have to multiply that by a fraction. I'm going to multiply that by the fraction 5/3. My 3's cancel, and that's going to give me 5. If I do that to the top, I also have to do it to the bottom. So I have to do 45 times 5/3. Well, I could reduce this fraction right here. 3 goes into here once. 3 goes into here 15 times. 15 times 5 is 75. Correct answer, answer C. Problem number 7. So jumping all over. A recipe calls for 3/4 of a cup of sugar. If you want to double the recipe, how much sugar do you need? So no picture on this one. I am starting from 3/4. I want to double, right, times 2. The recipe, how much sugar do I need? Multiply across the top to get 6, across the bottom 4. That answer is not there. I have to reduce it. 2 goes into here twice. 2 goes into here 3 times. Gives me 3/2. Still not there. So I got to turn it into a mixed number. 2 goes into 3 one time with 1 left over. Correct answer, answer C. You can see there's a lot of similarities in these problems. So hopefully on number 8 here, you're just reading this and you're saying, oh, another rate problem. So I'm going to have 50 miles per hour. That's 50 miles per hour. How long will it take to travel 200 miles? So I want to know how many hours to equal 200 miles. So I've identified I need the number of hours. Hours and hours will cancel to give me miles. So 50 times what equals 200? I can see that's 4. Correct answer, answer C. Let me double check that. How long will it take to travel 200 miles? I'm expecting a lot more. So 4 hours. This is what I was solving for, so I could have divided both sides by 50 to get that same 4. Problem number 9. Class of 30 students, 60% are boys. How many girls? Well, I know that 60 are boys. Convert to a decimal. Therefore, 40 are girls. How many girls? I want to know the girls, the number of girls. So I'm going to take the number of girls times that, 0.4 times that 30. 4 times 3 is 12. And then I have to add that 0 and then remove that 0 for the decimal place. So you see the correct answer is 12 girls, answer A. But if you just did the 60 times 30, you would get 18. But it's not 18 girls, it's 18 boys. Number 10, a water tank holds 500 gallons. If it is currently 75% full, how many gallons of water are in the tank? So it is 75% full. So that means I am not looking for how much left to fill. I want to actually convert this to a decimal and say 500 gallons times the 0.75 to get how many gallons are in the tank. I could eliminate some answers here. It's got to be more than half. So I could eliminate those two. And then I could just cut that number in half. 250, cut that in half, 125, add the 250 and 125 together to get 375. Or I can multiply this out, 0, 0, 25, placeholder, 0, 0, 35, add down 0, 0, 5, 7, 3, decimals over 1, 2, decimal goes over 1, 2, 375 gallons. Maybe a good picture here. Here's my tank. 75% full, something like that. Problem number 11. 3 friends, so here's a number, cost of a dinner equally. The total bill is 78. So I have these 3 friends, they are equal. All 3 of them equal 78. So that means 3x is equal to 78. Then I have to get 3x by itself, divide both sides by 3. That gives me x by itself. 78 divided by 3 goes into here twice, 6. 18 goes in here 6 times. Each pay $26. Double check that. How much did each person pay? 26 bucks. Number 12, if you're still here with me, well done. If you want more information, you could buy my book, Math Test Success. Help support the channel, become a member. Let's go ahead and do number 12. A carpenter has a board 9.5 feet long. So the whole board's 9.5. He needs to cut off a piece that is 2 1/4. So he's cutting off 2 1/4 here. How much will be left? So I want to know this. So I do 9.5 minus 2 1/4. A half minus a quarter is going to give me a quarter. 9 minus 2 is 7. Correct answer, answer C, 7 1/4 feet. Number 13. A factory produces 450 widgets in 5 hours. Hopefully you're recognizing that as a ratio, widgets in 5 hours. At this rate, how many widgets in 8 hours? So it's going to be equal to how many of these in 8 hours? I could multiply this by 8/5 if I want, multiply the top by 8/5. That's how I did it before. I think I'll do that. So I'm going to have to multiply this by 8/5. These will cancel. If I do that to the bottom, I have to do it to the top. So then I have 450 times 8/5. 5 goes into 45 9 times, but I got a 0. That 0 there. 8 times 9 is 72. Don't forget that 0. Correct answer, 720 widgets. We'll double check that. How many widgets can be produced in 8 hours? I'm expecting more. That looks good. Number 14. The temp at noon was 68 degrees. By midnight, 12 hours later, so 12 hours later, the temp dropped 15 degrees. What was the temp at midnight? So I do 68 minus 15 to get 53 degrees. Correct answer, answer A right there. Last one, problem 15 here. Again, congratulations for working hard, getting it done. Hopefully you have that book and paper out in front of you. A cyclist bikes 12 miles, again a ratio, in 45 minutes. If she continues at that same speed, how many miles, so I want to know this, how many miles will she bike in 1 hour? All my units have to be the same, so I'm just going to go right to 60 minutes here. So I'm going to have to multiply 45 by something to get to 60. I'm going to multiply it by 60 over 45. These will cancel, that'll give me 60. I'm going to do that to the bottom, I have to do it to the top. So this is kind of my picture here. Then from my picture, I'm going to go 12 times 60 over 45 is equal to how many miles? So I marked out my equation, I kind of drew my picture, created my equation. Step 4, I'm solving my equation. Well, 3 will go into here, 3 goes into here 4 times, 3 goes into here 15 times. I could keep reducing. 15 goes into 60 4 times into itself once. So now I just have 4 times 4, 16. Again, step 1, mark up my equation. Step 2, kind of create a picture or diagram. Step 3, create an equation. Step 4, solve that equation. Step 5, double check that you're solving for the correct thing. How many miles will she bike in 1 hour? I'm expecting it to be more. 16 is a good number. Correct answer, answer C. If you're still here, well done. Thank you for supporting this channel. Good luck on the arithmetic reasoning. I have a lot of other videos available as well. If you check out my channel, become a member, see what's going on. Thank you.